Hey, what's going on, everyone? I want to make another follow-up video to the last video, adding products into your store. Well, really the last two videos, finding products for your store and adding products to your store because, I really just want to over-deliver on value, and I realize that there's a lot to cover, and there are some other ideas out there that I don't think I specifically mentioned when I was doing the prior videos. So this is really just kind of an add-on into the whole thing. I'm just in here working right now. I've added a few more products to my store since the last video. You can see I'm still here working through the OWL collection. So I wanted to first call attention to just some of the ways that I'm, I guess, expanding on the ideas from before and adding the products. One was this OWL Wisdom bracelet. Number one, I guess, just a few quick points here. I want to point out the way that I named it. Just kind of trying to come up with names that are creative, that use adjectives, that kind of call people's attention. I think that this is a cool name, especially for people. I know that owls represent wisdom, and that there's a large group of people out there that will probably find that interesting. Also, the way that we're writing it, again, just kind of adding something in there to explain the product and give it some meaning. The way that I say owls have long been a symbol of wisdom and intelligence, and the perfect way to add meaning to your jewelry, whether man or woman. That's why if you appreciate the knowledge represented by the owl, you will love this unisex owl wisdom bracelet. Handcrafted from natural leather and fit with antique brushed metal charms, this bracelet is a unique piece that looks great on your wrist and you'll love wearing. And then I added a picture of somebody wearing it. And then down here, due to the high demand on these handcrafted pieces, please allow 2 to 3 weeks for delivery and the checkout stamp. So again, just adding some further, I guess, examples into what I was talking about last video, where I have the main product image, and then I also, in here, I'm going to try to do this as much as possible on this store, include an image of somebody wearing it. Now, that won't necessarily apply to every single product, but it can apply to a lot of products. I got to save the changes first. So like I also did that with the clock here. So I did this family first owl clock, and for the product image itself, I just have the front and the back of the clock so they can see what it looks like. But in here, I also added a picture of it, which of course I got from AliExpress, that shows it in a setting of a room. So I think that that's a really good thing to try to do as often as you can, because it will make your description that much better. It gives people a sense of what the product actually looks like other than just a stock image, all right? Now, there's nothing wrong with using the stock images. If you go to just about any major retailer online, they're going to have stock images, but they're also going to include these types of setting images as well. So I think that it's great to have a combination of both, because when somebody actually looks at the product page, they'll be able to see both, right? They'll see that, and then when they scroll down, they'll see this image. So I think that that looks good. And then you can see how our collection is building down here, all right? Another thing to mention on that point is sometimes the first item you look at won't be the one that you necessarily use. All right, so this was the first item that I had found when I was looking through the OWL collection items. And I was planning on doing this, but then when I went to grab the picture, I noticed how they have this watermark directly in the center of the clock on every single image. I mean, not on that one, but I can't really use that because it looks dumb. But on this one, it's there. On this one, it's there. And, for as crafty as I can be with Photoshop, there's just really no way to get around a watermark like that when it's directly through all that detail in the picture. It's just going to look stupid trying to remove it. So I came down here, and the pictures were still like that, even in the product description at the bottom. So a lot of times what you can do is you can scroll into the more products, the related items, or you can even just come right back up to the top. What I ended up doing in here is I just typed in, you can see recent searches, I typed in owl clock, and I just sorted by orders, and it turns out there's a whole bunch of them, all right? So it was a good idea, and then I started looking through here, and I actually ended up going with this first one. As you can see right here, that's what's open already, this Time Fly brand, because they don't use a watermark. and it's actually a better deal. I'm getting it at $11.88 per item, and shipping and payment $187 for e-packets. So the price is about the same at the end on that $14, but theirs is always $11.88. It's not on sale from $27, so I don't have to worry about it reverting back to the other price and then being screwed on my pricing model. All right, so and it still has really good feedback. It has more orders, and you know, so this worked better. I was able to just take this image, and then I was also able to, you know, come down here and see that people have actually purchased this. I could use some of these images if I wanted to for my product page, which actually wouldn't be a bad idea. But I didn't even check that at first. But what I ended up doing actually is I came into the product details, and I just came down here and I grabbed this family first image. I just zoomed out on the page a little because they have it so big, and then I took a screenshot of that and used this image, as you can see right here. So that's just another way that you can, you know, you're making your product page look as established as possible, which of course, you know, we want that. That's what we want. We want our store to look like a professional store because we plan on running a professional business and delivering quality items to these people. But a lot of times what I notice with people in the e-commerce business or this e-commerce, you know, drop shipping business, and I guess it's because it's not being taught and specifically explained, is they just grab one image, they put it on their website, and they, you know, they're just moving in a rush, I guess. People are moving in a rush, and they don't know any better to actually try to put together more images in there and make it look more complete. You can see my page is still very simple, but just by adding an image like that in there, it looks a lot more complete. By having related items in a collection down here, it looks a lot more complete as an actual website. So those types of things really, really help. All right. With the description here, you can see I kind of worked in, again, always trying to come from that mentality of how can I explain this item, and I always like to a little bit explain why the name of the item is what I named it, but at the same time make it descriptive and try to give that representation of owning the item. All right. Family always comes first, and this vintage Owl family clock is the perfect way to decorate your home and show your always come back and proofread and show your appreciation for family at the same time. All right, so like I threw the word vintage in there, you know, perfect way to decorate your home and show your appreciation for family. And then this is all description here. This noiseless quartz clock measures 30 centimeters in diameter, has a traditional 12-hour inner display with an outer 60 minutes display, and is powered by one AA battery, not included. The family first owl clock is the perfect decoration. That's actually kind of a repeat here. This is why you always come back and proofread. Is a great decoration for your home, office, or even any bar, restaurant, and coffee shop. It also makes a great gift. Awesome gift for family and friends. I try not to use the same adjectives too often. So it also makes an awesome gift for family or friends and family. All right. So I kind of hit on all the points of what this clock actually is without just dropping bullet points in there. I try to put it in a descriptive method. Again, you know, there's different ways to do it. I'm just showing you a different way that you can think about this. All right. And try to go about getting your descriptions to look nice. And give a representation of what it would be like to actually own that clock, or what uses that item could have in practical daily life application. Okay. Now, another thing that I wanted to add into this video, a great tip about actually finding products, right? When you're going through and maybe you're building a collection, or maybe the last video that I did didn't really help you about finding products as much as you wanted it to. You know, you can always come here and use this search tool, and it can be very, very beneficial. All right. So this is, what am I trying to say here? This is better, like, if you already know your niche a little bit, and you're like, so for example, the owl niche, and you can just start looking. I mean, you can just type in the main niche word and see all the different suggestions that already come up. And the idea here is I just want to make sure, you know, the work a lot of times is already done for us with AliExpress. They know the popular categories, they know what people are searching for, so use that stuff. Sometimes I think we overcomplicate the process, and what I'm really trying to do is show you how simple it can be to find good items, and then in the future videos as we start to sell these items, you'll see that it really does work. But all these different things here we have are great ideas. And you can just click in here on any one of these and you can go through a whole category of stuff. Now, there's different ways I like to sort these. Yesterday I talked about sorting by orders because the stuff that's most popular. Like this has 2,600 orders on it. That's awesome. A lot of these could be possible products to add in my collection. You can also sort by newest though, because this can be, just because something doesn't necessarily have any orders is not always a bad thing. There's always new products being added, so if you sort by newest and you see something really cool, then you may be the first one to find a product that could really work. Now, this is going to be a little bit more based on intuition and if you already have a niche that's doing well for you, but if you do, and I just want you to keep this in mind as you're building your niche and building your store, that you could come in here and find new products that have just been launched, and you want to look for a store that is established. So if it's a product that's just been launched, but it's a store that's established, like this, for example, then you know that you can probably trust that store, all right, because it's been around. It's just them launching a brand new product, so of course it doesn't really have any orders yet because nobody's seen it yet. And this can be a great way to come in here and find products before anybody else does, all right? Another way, and that's just like, again, you can do this with any, you can just come in here and type in your main niche that you're interested in. So like skull, for example, skull, ring, bracelet, mask, bag, t-shirt, glass, necklace, watch, scarf, beads, all with lots of results, all right? So you can come in here and look at this stuff and see, the most popular of what's being ordered from a skull. I've seen this item several times before, definitely going to be adding this to my store. And I can see newest items that are in here that have just been added and see if it's a store that's established. And, now I know that maybe I just found a cool item as I branch into that niche. Again, I probably won't lead off with one of these items unless I see something really, really cool. But as you develop into the niche, you can constantly do this. You can do this daily, you can do this weekly to be finding new items before, and as they're coming out, and just use the words. Like you can see as I typed in skull necklace, different keywords came up, all with lots of different results. So for women, for men, sugar skull, bird skull, crystal skull, all kinds of different things. So use the keyword suggestions, all right, as an advantage to you with AliExpress for sure, just to get ideas. And then, once you type something in, you can go deeper down the rabbit hole and keep searching ideas, because you can look at an item, right? And then there's two different ways you can continue to go deeper into your research. One, you can look at the store. We've already talked about this, but I want to hit on again just so you know and remember this. You can hit the store and you can go to their top selling items to continue to get new ideas out of their top selling, all right? And then you can also, again, we talked about this, you can come all the way down to the bottom and you can look at the related products as a way that you can continue to scroll through. This is from the seller, this is from other sellers, right? So you can see what other sellers are putting out there, and you can see premium related products, and you have all kinds of ideas here, and you can just follow this way, way, way down the rabbit hole. I know I keep using that expression. If you're not familiar with Alice in Wonderland, that's where it comes from. But it basically just means that you can keep getting deeper and deeper into your research, and you'll keep finding more and more fascinating and amazing types of ideas that you can possibly promote for your store, right? This takes us into a whole bag collection of skulls. So that's just a way that you can continue to find ideas. I wanted to reiterate that because I think it's important, and I know that in the last video I was talking about a lot of things, and sometimes certain ideas can get lost in translation. All right, and another thing that I didn't mention in the last video, I just kind of brushed over as we were talking about stuff, is the best-selling collection. All right, this is a great place to come and get ideas. All right, and really coming in here in the categories is a great way. AliExpress updates this weekly. All right, now it's not necessarily, maybe even daily, I don't know, but at least weekly. All right, so you should be checking this once a week for sure and coming into the categories you're interested in to see what's going on. All right, not every one of these products is going to fit what you're doing, but again, this is about getting ideas and going through. Now, a lot of people want to know what type of items are good to look for, all right, because you have so many items here, you know, Nick, what should I be looking for? I find, here's what I wrote down as I was going back through and looking at some stuff, and I saw a post earlier that kind of triggered my memory on some of this in a different group, and it's what made me want to record this video because I do a lot of this often, and I realized that maybe I should spell it out a little bit better. So we just talked about the niche plus item way of searching and using keyword suggestions. All right, absolutely powerful way to get ideas. Here are small items that are great for any niche. People love to buy. Think of, you know, and this is so powerful because I think of when I was in Europe and every single place, you know, where you go through Europe and you see these souvenir shops, right? The most common things you see in souvenir shops are these items right here, all right? And shot glasses as well, but shot glasses isn't, I mean, we can add that in here, but shot glasses is cups, mugs. I mean, these are all items as well. These are the most common things you see in souvenir shops, all right? And it's been that way for years and years and years, even when I was a little kid and I went to Disney World when I was like 6 years old or whenever it was with my parents. I always remember, you know, buying key rings or keychains or little things like that. So these are generally great because they're low-cost items, all right? They're like low-cost items that are going to get people into your store. Let's write this out. A lot of times people call this a trigger in your funnel, okay? Because you have other related items, you're building out collections, you may get higher purchases of other items that are in there, but these low-cost items are what are really going to get people in, just like the souvenir shop, all right? They see the cool little things, they want to have a memento. It's the same type of idea. You're hitting on a passion, all right? That's another thing. It's a passion plus practical application. All right, like for example, when I was in Europe, every country I went to from Amsterdam to Italy, Spain, Germany, Ireland, and France. All right, in all of those countries, I was looking for souvenirs, but I also wanted souvenirs that I thought I would use. Right, I didn't want to just get something like a little statuette that I knew would just sit on a dresser and I'd never even use. I was looking for like bottle openers. I got a bottle opener from Barcelona that was in the shape of a bull. I got a from Paris. I got a wine stopper with the Eiffel Tower on top of it. From Amsterdam, I got a little ashtray. All right, so these are just, the idea is they were passion products because I was passionate about being in that city and bringing a memento home with me, but they were practical applications. I was going to use them, just like any one of these things that you see up here. Mugs, cups, shot glasses. I got shot glasses in Dublin. Necklaces, rings, bracelets should be in here too. I got bracelets for people. I got a bracelet for my girl in Dublin. You know, like these are the types of things that people buy because they use them. And if they can represent a passion with something that's a practical application, that's a great item, especially if it's low cost. All right. The types of things that people are going to see, and it's going to have that, oh, that's so cool, or oh, you know, that kind of factor that they're going to see and want. All right. That's what I mean by passion. Okay. So when you're looking through these best-selling items and you can sort by the categories, you know, those are the types of things that you want to look for. There's a lot of stuff in here that's in the best-selling, but, you know, you can hit the view more, and I'm not going to make this video too long. This is just meant to give you some ideas to get you going. But that's the type of stuff that works really, really well, okay? And then another thing that I want to talk about, a category that is often overlooked, especially since you have to actually scroll right to get to it here, is the automotive category. And this is a great category because it can hit on these points here. And this is something again that I was just triggered in my mind as I was looking through some stuff earlier, that people generally, especially in America, all right, selling to an American audience, a lot of people have cars or a truck or whatever type of vehicle they have, and they love to personalize their car. That's why key rings and keychains work well, gadgets, decals, stuff that goes on a car that has to do with a niche. I mean, if you think about the automotive best-selling products, the niche possibilities are huge. Now, I'm not talking about general items like sponges here, all right? I'm talking about scrolling through and finding something. If we go to view more, you're just going to have to look through, like this. Like that's a great item. I mean, that's super cheap. You could almost do a free plus shipping offer on this, which we'll get to. We'll talk about that. But people that love pets and have a car, that's a massive audience that you can break into different segments and test. And this is a very low entry product. And if this hits our criteria, of course, we always got to make sure the product matches our criteria. 5 stars, 710 orders, an up-and-coming store. It's got 5 badges, so that seems good. Feedback is good on the product, it seems. All 5 stars and 4 stars. People showing pictures of what it looks like. Well, they don't have e-packets, so that's a shame, all right, because this is a great product example, but they just don't have e-packet. Now, you could possibly message them and ask them if they're willing to ship e-packet, but other than the e-packet, this is a great example. It even comes in 2 separate, gold and silver. So that's a shame because there's no tracking available, so you're generally going to want to stay away from that. All right, but that's only the first result that we looked for. All right, you could keep on going and keep coming down here and searching. You got to stay away from stuff like this because of trademark, but something like this could be cool. Because that's just a gecko. I don't know what that even is. It's just funny if people like that type of animal, right? It's got a lot of orders, so apparently it's popular. A smiley face type deal. These are things that could be great low cost items. A Punisher skull. That's different than what the actual Punisher emblem is, so you could use this. All right. That the Punisher skull doesn't look like that. It's just in that type of, and this type of skull is really popular anyway. So you could use something like that. I just wouldn't advertise it as the Punisher, right? You're just advertising it as a cool skull decal. All right, let's see if this hits the criteria. They're calling it the Punisher, but you could advertise it without using the Punisher name since it's not the Punisher emblem anyway. Unless I'm mistaken on that, but I don't believe it is. E-packet. They do offer e-packets, so you would be at about $3 on this item. You could sell this. You got to watch because something like this you can't sell for a lot of money. But if you have a good collection built around skulls, this could be a great trigger item to get them into your store. All right, and then you have the related items that you're selling. So there are certain items that can work where you're not going to make a lot of money off of it, but they can be cool to put in your store. All right, and so there's a lot of stuff in here that you could just scroll through and look for stuff in your niche that may work very well. Obviously, there's pages and pages and pages of stuff. If I go to page 7, I'm sure that it'll bring up a whole new set of pages. Yeah, so there's a lot of different stuff that you could look through. Again, not all of it's going to apply, but it's a good place to start where you can look through for ideas. And again, automotive can be tough. You want to watch that you're not grabbing something trademarked in the automotive industry, but there's going to be a lot of cool stuff in here. I guarantee it. I mean, I see a lot of different items already that could have, application into what we're doing. And, really the idea would be to just go through and save an item every now and then, get yourself a list of stuff together, and then go back through the list and see which ones you think fit the best. All right. Huh. That's kind of funny. Um, So yeah, that's really what I wanted to show you, just some different ideas of where you can find stuff, types of stuff to look for, things you can type in. Once you have some different kind of product ideas that work, I mean, you can even, I'm actually curious now. So you can even find cool stuff like shot glasses. Like this is cool as well here. So anyway, when you're thinking of trigger items, you're thinking of small items. It's best to always have a niche as an angle. All right, you can sell a general item, but a general item can be tough because it's hard to know who your audience is. Right? We want to have an audience to target. All right, once you've sold a lot of a certain type of item, maybe you can go more general. But in the beginning, starting out, you want to have a niche idea in mind that gives you an angle for targeting. All right, and then these small items, thinking of souvenir shops and the types of stuff that people buy all the world around when they see something that they're passionate about. Those are the types of things we're looking for. And if you can combine that search and find gadgets and decals in the automotive industry for cars and trucks, that's another great application. You don't have to do this. Again, this is just a tip that I wanted to offer. And remember, searching the best selling of AliExpress by category, it's going to take some time. You're going to have to go through and actually do your research and search, but you can find a lot of great stuff in there. All right, so I'm going to get back to adding products to my store, and hopefully I'm going to have a few collections done here by the end of the day. And then the next video that we're going to get into is going to be custom merchandise and talking about how you can actually make your own t-shirts for sale, your own mugs for sale, your own blankets for sale, and things like that, which is really a huge advantage because then you're in control and the only thing that you have to worry about is creativity. And the best part about custom merchandise, I'll talk about all the benefits and cons in the next video, but really the best part about it is your shipping time is cut in half. You're talking about 1 week for custom merchandise shipping right from the US. So that can be a huge advantage where you don't have to deal with the 2 to 3 week shippings. All right. So I hope that helped. If you have any of your own ideas or tricks or tips that you have found worked well, feel free to share. Remember, abundance mindset, guys, we're all pulling from the same source, but as you saw when I was typing in stuff here, there are literally thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of search results out there for us all to pull from and sell in even within one niche. So, times multiple niches, you're talking about probably in the millions of items on AliExpress. So there's plenty to go around for all of us. Go out there, do your research, find your stuff, start building your store. I'll be building mine at the same time, and I will see you in the next video.